The trade deadline presents an opportunity for teams to improve their rosters by acquiring players. Teams will give away prospects and players in exchange for a player they believe can improve their championship odds, with mixed results. And over the course of baseball history, one team has been the best at dealing for pitchers at the deadline. Randy Johnson was a 5-time All-Star and Cy Young winner in his 10 seasons with the Seattle Mariners. Along the way, he collected some legendary postseason performances, but in 1998, Johnson was having a down year in Seattle, and his contract was expiring at the end of the year, so the Mariners were looking to get rid of him before he left at the end of the year for nothing. The 1998 Houston Astros were 65-44 on July 31st, up 3.5 games in the NL Central over the Cubs. The rotation was fronted by Jose Lima, Shane Reynolds, Mike Hampton, and Sean Lance Bergman. The Astros saw Johnson available and traded him for Freddie Garcia, Carlos Guillen, and John Halama, 3 prospects who would have perfectly fine careers. Randy Johnson would go on to, "Oh my goodness!" There are about a million different stats to describe how dominant Randy Johnson was in an Astros uniform, but here's my favorite. In 1998, the Astros leader in pitcher WAR was Randy Johnson. He only played 11 games for the Astros. Let me repeat that. Randy Johnson pitched 11 games and had more WAR than every single other Astros pitcher. Continuing on WAR, the National League had 310 pitchers in 1998. Randy Johnson recorded more WAR than all but 9 of them. Think about that for a second. The players with similar WAR have 30-odd games played and 200 innings pitched. Johnson didn't even get to 100. He didn't even get to 90 innings pitched, and he's still shooting with them. You want one number? ERA plus is a simple stat. It's really just this. 100 is average, higher is better, lower is worse, and it takes into account park factors, run environments, so you can blah blah blah. You know who had a good season? 1968 Bob Gibson had a 1.12 ERA. That's good. His ERA plus was 258. You know who else had a good season? 2000 Pedro Martinez had a 1.74 ERA at the height of the steroid era. His ERA plus was 291, which is the highest of all time in the integration era. But the big unit simply does not care. Randy Johnson earned 5 Cy Young awards in his career, but perhaps his most impressive feat was earning a Cy Young vote despite playing in literally half of the games of the next closest players. Look, this is a dumb experiment just to remember me. Let's say Johnson pitched 30 games and kept up at his pace that he was on in Houston. He would have, sit down for this, an 11 WAR season. Using the same calculation for his innings pitched and earned runs, he would have finished with a 1.26 ERA, so no, he wouldn't have had a lower ERA than Bob Gibson, but it's still very impressive. So sure, Johnson came in 7th in Cy Young voting, but incredibly enough, he also received an MVP vote, again, only pitching in 11 games. Naturally, the Astros had the best record in the National League after the trade and won the NL Central handily by 12.5 games. With 102 wins, the Astros were the second best team in the National League behind only, guess who? Yep, it's the Braves. It's always the Braves. Time for the NLDS. Johnson got the Game 1 start against Kevin Brown of the Padres. Brown was in the middle of a 3-year stretch that established him as one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, and he held up that reputation by allowing only 2 base runners through 5 innings. Johnson was doing well himself, allowing 4 base runners through 5. Then came the 6th. Tony Gwynn leads off, Johnson gets him to a 1-2 count. Now, usually hitters are at a huge disadvantage with a 2-strike count, but Tony Gwynn looks at that and laughs. He does this and gets a double, because that's just who Tony Gwynn is. Greg Vaughn gets a tough infield single, and Ken Caminetti bloops his way into a bases loaded, nobody out. Jim Lieritz is up at the plate. He hits one high, hits one deep, and to left center, but the wind blows it back or something, and it dies on the track. 1 run scores on the sac fly. Steve Finley goes down swinging on 3 pitches, and after a ground out from Carlos Hernandez, Johnson has escaped the situation with only 1 run given up. Small problem. The Astros hitters were just not performing up to standard. They may have had the best offense in baseball in 1998, but Kevin Brown was in an absolute groove, striking out 18 batters, which is the second most in any playoff game ever. Behind only, hey, it's Bob Gibson again in the 1968 World Series. Greg Vaughn hits a leadoff home run in the 8th, but it didn't matter. Against Kevin Brown in this game, 2 runs is about 10 too many. Although I may have misspoken, as a Caminetti error scores the Astros' only run, and Johnson takes his second loss in an Astros uni. The Astros gave Randy the nod for Game 4. Down 2-1, the win was necessary. Johnson still had something left in the tank, giving up only 2 runs in 6 innings with 8 Ks, but the Astros offense again was stopped in its tracks, and one of the best runs by a pitcher ever was over. Johnson's best performance in Houston was probably his complete game shutout with 16 strikeouts against the Pirates on August 28th. But after the season, he left and signed with the Diamondbacks in free agency. I wonder how that went. Justin Verlander was a 6-time All-Star and 1-time Cy Young and MVP winner in his 13 seasons with the Detroit Tigers, which included some not-so-great postseason performances. By 2017, Detroit's dynasty years were more or less over, and they had already given up pretty much all the valuable players from those teams, but when Verlander got dealt, that fully flipped a switch into rebuilding. The 2017 Houston Astros were 80-53 on August 31st, up 11.5 games in the AL West over the Angels. The rotation was fronted by Dallas Keuchel, Lance McCullers Jr., Brad Peacock, and Charlie Morton. The Astros saw Verlander available and traded him for Franklin Perez, Daz Cameron, and Jake Rogers, 3 prospects who have done literally nothing for the Tigers. So you remember how Randy Johnson got 11 starts in Houston? Yeah, Verlander only got 5. But he still got the win in all 5 games, including an 8-inning, 1-hit performance against the Angels on September 12th. If he had kept up the pace in a 30-game season, he would have put up 10 WAR. Again, rolling into the postseason as the 2 seed, Verlander got the Game 1 start against the Red Sox. Verlander would face another good pitcher and 6-time All-Star Chris Sale. Sale started out by...
Here's a long drive to deep left field, and the Astros are on the board first.
He followed it up by...
Altuve smacks one toward left center field. Back at the wall, Benintendi. They go back-to-back and go up 2-0.
Verlander could have been better. 2 on and 2 out, Sandy Leon is up at the plate, and he hits the ball exactly where the shift isn't. But Josh Reddick does a do, and Dustin Pedroia is out at third, but because 2 outs, the run was very close to not counting. Now, with runners on the corners and nobody out, Verlander allowed a sac fly that tied the game. Verlander then received something that Randy Johnson didn't get: run support in the playoffs. Marwin Gonzalez launched a double that put the Astros up 2. Verlander goes 3 up, 3 down. The Astros give him more run support.
Altuve drives one to deep left center field. Is this his second? You bet!
Verlander goes 3 up, 3 down. Chris Sale is out, stupid McDumdum face comes in. He promptly allows a 2-run single, and Verlander picks up the win. In Game 4, after Charlie Morton let a runner on in the 5th, Verlander came in and...
Benintendi hits a towering fly ball towards the pole. It is gone!
Okay, that wasn't great. But don't worry, Verlander bounced back with 2 more innings of no-hit ball, which got him the win after Chris Sale blew it. Now, 7-0 in an Astros uniform, Verlander was tasked with giving the Astros a 2-0 series lead in the ALCS. Strikeout, strikeout, pop fly, single, strikeout, line out, fly ball, double, psych! Ground out, fly ball, run support, barely. Strikeout, strikeout, double, ground rule double, bye-bye run support. Line out, strikeout, fly ball, strikeout, walk, strikeout, fly ball, strikeout, fly ball, single, fly ball, ground out. Astros walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. Verlander collects the complete game shutout and his 8th win in a row. The Astros didn't win the next 3 games and were down 3-2 in the series. Luckily, they gave the ball to Verlander. 3 hits by the top of the 5th, then came this.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
What a pitch, 3 in a row. Strikeout number 6. And Verlander's just toying with him. To the delight of those packed into Minute Maid Park in Houston, no score.
Yep, sometimes all you can do is laugh. Remarkably, Verlander outdid himself. The next inning, he allowed 2 on with 2 out. Now, trust me folks, 2 on with 2 out can go wrong. Very, very wrong. Verlander does not help himself by falling down 3-0 in the count. Now, JV does not want the bases to fall loaded, so he has to get an out here, and he does.
A check swing on 3-0. Correa, inning over.
What are you thinking?
They turn Sanchez loose.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the mind behind swinging and an intentional walk comes swinging with 2 runners on and 2 outs with a 3-0 count. But that's not enough pressure. Verlander walks and hits a batter in the 7th. Tying run at the plate, Verlander falls to 3-0 again. He gets a strike, but then he walks him.
Full count.
Or not. Full count, no outs, 2 runners on. What do you got, Justin?
High drive into right, down the line, but foul.
Okay, that scared me. Not gonna lie, that scared me. Yada yada, same situation, do it again. I hate baseball, man. Literally end this. Can we please end this?
Struck him out, 1 away.
Finally. Hicks sits on the fastball a million times and whiffs royally on the slider. Now he has to deal with Todd Frazier. No big deal, right?
Fly ball in the air to center. Back is Springer at the wall. A leap and a catch. Behind the runner. One of the best double plays in ALCS history.
The Yankees certainly thought it was out, and the Blue Jays clearly liked what they saw. But we still have 1 out to go, and Verlander gets it. That's his ALCS done. His final stat line is 2 games started, 16 innings pitched, 10 hits, 21 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 wins, 1 pennant, and an MVP. World Series time, baby. Now for a fun bit of Justin Verlander trivia. His 3 World Series starts prior to 2017 with the Tigers all resulted in losses. He had a 7.27 ERA in his 15 innings of work. His Game 2 start would go well for 4 innings until...
Fly ball into right. Reddick back at the wall. Tugging.
On the bright side, this was the longest Verlander had ever gone in a World Series without allowing a run. Could he bounce back the next inning?
Fly ball into left. Back at the wall. It is gone. Seager.
Well, Verlander was out after the 6th. He was going to receive the loss. Marwin Gonzalez, and the Astros ended up winning. His next World Series start and last appearance of his 2017 season was going pretty well. 5 innings of no-run ball, but in the 6th, things got away from him, starting with an RBI double. Then came the big shot.
Seager hits it into right, back at the wall. It is caught up against. Tagging and scoring is Utley.
Heart attack aside, Verlander was out again after 6 innings and his 2017 season was over. But don't worry, he got that ring. So what was his best start? Probably either his complete game shutout in the ALCS or his 8-inning 1-hit performance against the Angels. After winning the World Series, the Astros improved on their rotation by adding He Who Shall Not Be Named, and hey, look who it is. They decided that they needed another elite starting pitcher and were like, hey, what pitcher has a career .255 batting average and wanted to play shortstop instead of being called up? Bingo! Zack Greinke, you are a Houston Astro.
What do you have in that phone?
Zack Greinke is going to the Astros. That's the biggest.
Oh!
Nicholas Castellanos is going to the Cubs. But the Greinke one is the fascinating.
Whoa!
The rotation was dubbed October Best by Sports Illustrated, and can we just add Greinke in the... Yeah, there we go. Also, that's unfortunate. Kyle Tucker was most certainly disappointed. What was I talking about? Something about Chipotle and Zack Greinke. You know, I'm just gonna put some Zack Greinke highlights on the screen and I read off a bunch of classic Zack Greinke shenanigans. Sound good? Okay. One time, Zack told Brian Pena he wasn't an everyday catcher because he, quote, ate too much ice cream. Once in spring training, he intentionally beamed a teammate because he fouled off too many pitches and Zack didn't want to waste any more on him. Thanks to a home run in 2005, Zack Greinke finished that year with a 524 OPS+. On August 6, 2015, Greinke allowed 5 runs in the first inning before recording an out. Then, because he's Zack Greinke, he singled to lead off the next inning, which contributed to a run. Then he homered in the top of the third, and his final line on the day was 6 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 6 hits allowed, and 3 hits, plus he scored all 3 times and collected the win. One time, A.J. Ellis came in as a defensive substitute and asked Greinke what signs he wanted. Greinke responded, "Put down whatever you want, everything right now is nasty." The only award Greinke is proud of is the samurai sword that Mizuno gave him for winning the 2009 Cy Young, which gave us this lovely image. He broke Carlos Quentin's collarbone at one point. He once called his Dodger teammates out for not washing their hands after using the restroom. Alex Gordon was a struggling rookie in Kansas City, so Zack showed him a clip of his first home run and told him to, quote, "do more of that." His contract that he signed with the Diamondbacks included another samurai sword, a minority stake in a Chipotle franchise, 10 actual tons of guacamole, and a copy of Shawshank Redemption on Blu-ray, which he remarked, "You're not allowed to write about me if you haven't seen The Shawshank Redemption. See it and then get back to me." Hold on one second. He has made 9 pinch hit appearances in his career, including 1 in the 2021 World Series. In fact, in that World Series, Greinke went 2 for 3, including that pinch hit single. He once had a meeting with his GM and manager in 2005 and told them hitting's not that hard. He then hit the first home run of his career that very season. He once had a competition with teammate Randy Wolf on who could throw the slowest pitch. He won with a 53-mile-an-hour eephus, which, by the way, isn't even his career low. After a bad spring training appearance, he told his teammate, "If I pitch that bad, I might be as bad as you were last year." And I think that's as many Zack Greinke stories as I can fit in one segment about 2019 Zack Greinke. Nope, wait, one more. He once called a mound visit in the middle of a game so he could propose a fantasy football trade with his catcher. Greinke kinda got rocked in his first 2 postseason starts, giving up 9 earned runs in 9.2 innings. His next 2 starts were slightly better, and just like that, he's starting Game 7 of the World Series. He was great after getting some early run support from but he allowed a home run in the 7th, but this was called a strike, and the Astros won the 2019 World Series. The end!
Well, I'll be honest, I don't really understand, but I fell down this hill and I got glue on my hands and I got records on my fingers. Records on my fingers, I got records on my fingers and I just can't stop.